Good evening and salutations, my Days of Our Lives fans. Okay, here's the thing about this scene with Paulina and Chanel. Okay? Because on one hand, I understand her being angry and upset. It just recently happened. And, she finds out that he was with another woman. And it doesn't matter so much if it was kissing or whatever or anything more, right? She finds out that he was with somebody else and she's pissed off and she's hurt and she's angry. One of the things when she told Paulina was that, they got together, they hooked up and that was it. And Paulina was like, wait, so you mean that they didn't sleep together? And Chanel was like, no. And she was like, okay, so what's the problem? No, she was like, that's it. Because truth of the matter is, Paulina, Abe, they grew up in a different time, right? They grew up in a time where I feel like marriage means more to our previous generation than it does to us. We're very quick to sit there and cut and run the minute that there's an ounce of difficulty. So when she was like, well, I'm not going to forgive him, and that's just that, I was like, okay, cool. Um, Good luck being single for the rest of your life. Don't ever sit there and get married. You are just clearly not the marrying type. Okay? Because, and I'm not sitting there saying that this is, clearly this was wrong. Okay, we can all agree that this was wrong, right? When you're married, I mean, yes, granted, to sit there and break your vows in a sense like that is clearly wrong on Johnny's part. But for her to not even sit there and try to work this out in any sort of capacity, and she's just so quick to be like, oh, I'm mad, I'm angry. I'm like, okay, cool. Just let the next person that you know that you ain't going to get married because nobody's going to sit there and deal with that. Because, like, the bottom line is, like, yes, what he did was horrible, but y'all can work on it. He didn't actually sleep with someone else. Yes, it was wrong. And I know I said something yesterday, but after Cynthia seeing how she was trying to overly explain, Cynthia talking about, well, it's a lot worse because, it's even worse that he didn't sit there and sleep with her. And I'm just like, bro, what you're Cynthia saying right now, this makes no sense to anybody else except for you. You're so angry that you're trying to make this sounds worse than what would actually happen. And that's why I got to the point I started tuning out. I was like, I don't know what your daughter's saying, but I mean, I know she's angry and hurt and everything like that, but your daughter, hmm, your daughter sounds like she's going to be single for the rest of her life, and maybe that's kind of what she deserves to be at this point in time, because marriage is tough. Marriage is tough. There's going to be a lot of trials and tribulations that is going to come when you put on those rings. And if you're not willing to sit there and stand the test of time, don't bother. Now, Johnny is not there pretty much saying that his marriage is over. And I'm just like, listen, I get what you did was wrong, but that's not a situation you want to sit there and be in. Because I know that Johnny's going to be groveling. And I cannot stand when a man, I can't stand when anyone grovels. Because no one is not there worth that. No one. No one is worth that. For me, I don't care how big your boobs are. There is no way, it'd be a cold day in hell before I ever sit there and grovel. Ever. But, he's pretty much like, this thing is over. And, he tells us about joy and everything like that. It was a one time thing. And, he gives him some sage advice. And Johnny's like, so you're not angry at me? You don't hate me? I'm like, I'm pretty sure he knew you way before he met Paulina and Chanel. So I don't think you have to worry about him hating you. But he does sit there and try to call Chanel, and Chanel hangs up, and Chanel gets up in Joy's face. Now, what Joy did was wrong because she did sit there and messed around with a married man. While Alex is snitching, trying to make her feel a little bit better by saying this was mostly on him. She's new in town. She didn't want to ruin her reputation. She felt like his marriage was over. But at the end of the day, she still made the choice. So, um, and of course, Alex tries to come up with a bunch of reasons of why him and Stephanie is not going to work out, and it's never going to work out. And all he does is just make excuses. Now, Chanel, now I feel like Stephanie just lives on an entirely different planet than everybody else because she winds up having a sex dream. She wakes up, and I don't know how, but Philip is like, "You're having a dream about Alex, weren't you?" And I'm guessing it was not the warm and fuzzy type, right? Like it was an intense scene, an intense dream. And then, hold on, let me sit there and read what she said. And Philip calls her out. Philip was like, "You're still hung up on her," and she's like, "You're sitting there saying all that because I had one sex." She said, "Oh, okay, so that's what it was." He was like, "You're still hung up on him," and she was like, "Why? Why? Because I had one dream about him?" Yes. Yes, that's exactly why he's saying that. I know he sat there was like, you did not just sit there and say that. You did not just sit there and say, "Oh, well, there's no possible way I could sit there and be hung up on somebody." I just had a dream about them, but that's just hooey at this point. When she said that, I was like, how is it possible that you're able to do your job? I don't know if it's. I wonder how is it possible that you're able to tie your own damn shoes at this point? Because I heard some stupid things before, but wow, Stephanie, just wow. And he's like, "You know what? Listen, this is just not working out. I'm here for the long haul, and we should probably just cut our losses now." And that was the smartest thing that Philip did, followed by the dumbest thing that he did by sitting there listening to Stephanie try to convince him to stay. And of course, he stays and he makes her eggs. And I'm just like, you had the good idea, you had the good sense to sit there and leave. You chose to stay like an idiot because that's literally what you're doing. This woman is still hung up on somebody else. And then I get that she was meant to trying to do some sort of reverse psychology or something like, well, you remember yesterday that you were, really over, Chloe and stuff like that. Yeah, but he's not sitting there having sex dreams about her. Like, come on, bro. Like, use your head at this point. I don't even. Anyway, he convinces her to stay. Um, Paulina, I guess for the sake of, I don't know, her daughter. He's like, well, I was just trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. I was like, no, 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 no. You thought, like everybody else, that as bad as it was not the worst thing that he's done. Yes, it was bad, but you knew damn well that that kiss, in the grand scheme of things, should not have ended a whole marriage. It should have probably took a little bit of a pause, anger, whatever, but like, um, oh, then there's the whole Gabby, Javi, and JJ scene, which just turns into just one big damn joke at this point. I was like, and here we go with the comedy routine. Awesome. The only takeaway I can sit there and say about that scene is that Gabby did sit there and say, "You are thinking about going back to Leo at this point." And that's to tell you the truth, if he does sit there and try to go back to Leo should sit there and slam the door in his face. Because nobody wants to be with a prima donna. No one wants to be with a prima donna. Listen, I get what Leo did was wrong and everything like that. But I'm like, bro, it was an accident. It was a mistake, and you were the last person that was by his laptop. So it's not unreasonable for him to sit there and be like, maybe you had something to do with it. Because any person in their right mind would sit there and say the same thing. Um. Anyway, there's some more googly talk between JJ and Gabby, and that's pretty much about it. I feel like that's pretty much about it. In general, if I miss anything, you know what to do. Come to the live stream tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. I'll be talking about all the shows. General Hospital, Days of Our Lives, Born and Beautiful, and Young and Restless. I'll see you in the next video.